This experienced dog is performing a blind retrieve across water while a youngster looks on before she's expected to do the same. Retrieves across water take much courage and obedience for a young dog, and slowly bringing them to the top level takes many small steps of progress. 8-year-old Jersey here is always happy to finish a water retrieve on a cold day, but is a good girl and always obedient. So Oxo, at 18 months, will watch while I put the dummy out, giving her a chance to think about the job. And although youngsters often need extra encouragement, presented with a fair test that she's familiar with, she will learn to go when she is told. I would advise never to underestimate the questions that we ask our dogs in training. If you run the video back where I left her and I showed her the dummy, she gave a small sign of stress and yawning. But Oxo is ready for this, and I am very careful to give her plenty of time to think and would not repeat it too often. So Oxo's watching me come back on land, which will be a temptation to her rather than swim back, and bless her, she's thinking a lot about the job and decides that she'd rather not. But an encouraging, calm approach will give her confidence, and I know it is a fair test for her. No force, but quiet encouragement. Dogs don't always want to do things in training, and here you'll see a little flick of her head, which is a bit of stress, before she leaves the bank. This is as stressful as I would ever want a training lesson to be for a dog, and it's up to me to make sure that we finish on a really good note and she's fully confident and happy. So after a slight hesitation, she's in. That's the most difficult part of the exercise, is getting them to leave you and head off to the far bank, to have that confidence to strike out and go. She's a good swimmer and she's seen exactly where the bird has been put. And it is a bird, which is a great reward for her when she gets there. And she's bouncing. Now you'll remember that she knows the way round by land, so it's important for me to encourage her to swim back, and that's the reason that I bob down and open my arms wide, to really encourage her to get into the water and not run round. And there she's quite happy about that, getting in for the second time, despite her reluctance in the beginning. So the important thing here is going to be to give her a huge amount of praise for completing something that was a bit worrying for her at the beginning. And you can see that her body language shows she's quite unperturbed by the job. She brings it in nicely, and then she's very pleased with herself.
Very, very good. Oh, did you do that? Good girl. Come, Oxo, come.
She just wants to dive off and play, but always get them to sit at some stage after an exercise to bring back that calmness and lower the excitement.
Very good. Good girl.
So it will be hugely beneficial to give Oxo the confidence of doing that once more. And rather than repeat it exactly, I'd wanted to do a blind for her across the same piece of water. So I'm just sitting the dogs up out of sight so I can put this blind out, and I'll put it in virtually the same place as where she's just done the scene retrieve, and send her again. So this is a typical trick if you've got a particularly difficult lesson or a new lesson exercise to do with a dog. Don't send it straight for a blind. Give it a scene first, then put the blind out in the same place and send your dog, and that will give it confidence because it will achieve. And then when it's a little bit more experienced, you can start to put blinds out as a starter without that initial run out on the same track. You'll notice that I did throw the bird a bit further back than her previous retrieve, so she can't literally go to the same spot without thinking. She will have to search for it. And I plan to stop her and direct her when she gets to the far bank. And this time as well, she won't have the support of the other dog. I'm going to bring her forward on her own. But you'll see she's much more comfortable coming forward here than she was the first time. She's more relaxed on the lead. And take your time in this sort of training. You never want to rush your dog. And lesson number 1 to handler, just sort your whistle out. So it was a lovely calm entry and much, much better than the first time, so well worth repeating. So just remembering it's a blind, I'm going to stop her at the far bank and then direct her. Taking charge and giving direction is better than potentially hunting the reeds and getting distracted by scent.
Go back.
It's just unfortunate here she went round to the left of that fence as she went back, but I don't want to micromanage her, so I leave her and watch while she tracks right in the hopes that she'll wind it. But she soon goes past the bird and the wind's coming through from the right, so I stop her and she responds well to the signal to go back left towards the bird, but unfortunately runs past it again. So one more stop comes up, she's sent right and put onto it. So that was lovely, and then just to remember to give her a strong recall by bobbing down to bring her straight across on the water rather than running round. Whilst I like to be quiet with handling, I think it's really important to give the dog praise in the moment.
Yeah, come on. Very good.
For her to get in the water there and swim back to me on her own when she's a long way from me. You know, again, it takes quite a lot of bravery, so give her the praise when she gets into the water.
Oxen, come. Good. Very good. You
And
come
again,
here.
lots of praise, really good work, and really make them feel like a king.
Good girl. Good girl.
And after good work, let them have a real release of energy. Here she was so excited, the camera couldn't keep up with her. Enjoy your dogs.